So Socrates is being brought up, or has been sentenced to death, and so they put him in prison, and they're going to have him executed. But what happens is that there's actually a religious holiday, and a bunch of all the city leaders, everybody who is of any higher class, is taking a holiday to go travel by boat, like about a day's boat travel north to a temple where they're going to give worship to one of the gods. That it's a religious holiday. And so everybody is leaving town and going up on this, religious thing. And so a lot of people are out of town, and so they're going to do it when everybody gets back after the religious holiday. And so while he's in prison, some of Socrates' followers bribe the guards, and they get into basically his cell, and they go in, they pay the guards off, and they go in, and they say, "Look, Socrates, we're wealthy people. We're in Athens, and we've paid off the guard. And we got a boat waiting, and you can escape, and we'll leave Athens, and you can go do whatever you want to do. You can go on and live your life." Well, Socrates at first is kind of like, "Well, what do you mean I can leave? I can escape? I can go do what I he's sort of he's a little taken aback. He's like why should I do it?" And they're like, "Well, the thing is we're wealthy people. And we're in Athens, and if one of our friends gets tried on charges of crimes or misleading or whatever it is, it is our expectation that we will bribe the guards and help you escape. Nobody's actually thinking you're going to get killed. They're expecting us to bribe the guards and get you out of here. So nobody's really expecting you to die. They just expect you kind of to leave, and they sentence you to death with that expectation that you would just leave based on our bribery." Well, Socrates is going, what? No, I don't accept that. He said, I lived here in Athens. He said, I benefited from this society. I benefited from everything good. He said, I can't now just sort of, turn my back and run and die, and run away. He said, because, I've lived my life and I've benefited. I have to take the good with the bad. And the bad is that they sentenced me to death, so I must die. And so he accepts death, and he prepares for death. He further argues that he spent most of his life trying to tell people about the world of forms, about the world of ideas, about this thing that is beyond the physical, that is a world of ideas. He says, and nobody has listened to him. And so he says, I tried, I've done my part. I'm in this mortal coil, sort of stuck in the world trying to tell people, I've done my part. I will die and I will return to the forms and I will be freed from this body. So he has no problem. He sees his soul leaving and going back to the heavens. So he's okay with it. And his last maybe further argument is he's basically saying, look, not only did he accept the good, but he said the other thing is he was called by the gods to do philosophy. So, if he was called by the gods to do philosophy, if he were to leave, he would be disobeying the gods. He was called to do it. So he either must die or do what he has been called to do. And so he is basically accepting death based upon basically three arguments. One is that Athens, was good to him, and he has to accept the good with the bad. He is arguing that it's a chance for him to return to the forms. And thirdly and finally, it is also the case that he's been called by the gods and must obey. And so that's what he has to do. So at that point, he drinks some hemlock. It's a poison, and he dies.